I finally figured out what Thor's role in Avengers Doomsday is going to be, and trust me, this time Thor is returning in full god-level glory. This isn't the goofy Thor or the wandering, uncertain Thor we've seen across the last few films. This is a mythic Thor, a purpose-driven Thor, a Thor who steps into a cosmic storm he can sense long before anyone else does. Welcome back, everyone, to MovieCast, hosted by me, Liam Harrison, and today, I'm diving into what I believe is the true arc Marvel is building for Thor in Avengers Doomsday. The deeper I went into this theory, the more I realized Thor isn't just another powerhouse on the battlefield. He's the one Avenger whose entire history, lineage, and divine nature place him in the direct path of Dr. Doom's rise. And as I unraveled this idea piece by piece, something clicked. Thor isn't reacting to Doom. Thor is the first to feel the rupture Doom causes. It touches something ancient within him, something tied to the fabric of the realms themselves. And that moment becomes the spark of the entire story Marvel is secretly setting up. So picture the film opening on New Asgard, not the coastal village we remember, but a thriving colony world rebuilding itself across the stars. Thor is guiding his people with a calm, almost meditative presence, but beneath that serenity, he feels a tremor rip through reality. It isn't the energy of gods, titans, or celestials. No, this is colder, sharper, forged by intellect rather than cosmic birthright. It's the result of Dr. Doom's multiversal tech experiments. What I find so compelling here is the subtle way Thor senses what no one else can. Because Doom isn't manipulating magic or brute cosmic power, he's tearing into the underlying mathematics of existence. And Thor, being born of divine forces that predate even the earliest scientific ages of the universe, feels the distortion like a scar opening in real time. He rushes to warn the Avengers, declaring with a gravity only he can deliver. He is not a man, he is a crisis waiting to consume everything. And this isn't poetic exaggeration, it's an omen. Thor becomes the first line of awareness. The first sign that something catastrophic is weaving itself into the multiverse. But the moment Thor brings this warning to the Avengers, the story shifts. There's tension. Not because they don't trust Thor, but because Doom operates differently from any threat they've faced before. The Avengers gather, analyzing Doom's fragmented tech signatures. Banner believes Doom is creating a chain of energy loops that stabilize and destabilize reality at will. Strange sees hints of forbidden dimensional mechanics. Sam, ever the tactician, argues that rushing in would only accelerate Doom's timeline. Yet Thor refuses to entertain hesitation. To him, this isn't a puzzle to decode, it's a wildfire that must be extinguished before it spreads. And this conflict escalates when Thor experiences something deeply personal. Loki's presence flickers out of existence. Whether it's an illusion, a side effect of Doom's experiments, or something more sinister, Thor interprets it as erasure, a theft, a violation. Suddenly, this mission becomes more than a cosmic threat. It becomes a personal reckoning. Thor believes Doom isn't just breaking the multiverse, he's deleting lives, history, memory itself. And that ignites something fierce and ancient in Thor, a refusal to let his family be lost again, especially to a man who thinks he can rewrite creation. Driven by grief, anger, and purpose, Thor charges into the first major confrontation with Doom. And this is where Marvel would completely flip audience expectations. Thor doesn't struggle. He's outmatched. Doom's armor, infused with multiversal circuitry and Uru-absorbing technology, neutralizes every bolt of lightning Thor unleashes. Stormbreaker's energy dissipates before it ever reaches Doom's chestplate. Doom mocks him, not with comedic arrogance, but with chilling certainty. I surpassed gods long ago. And Thor, In a moment that echoes the vulnerability he rarely shows, realizes his identity as the strongest Avenger means nothing against an enemy who doesn't fight with power, but with design. Doom engineered himself beyond the reach of godhood. Thor is thrown aside, defeated in a way that feels less like losing a battle and more like losing purpose. That defeat becomes the turning point, the moment Thor understands brute strength won't win this war. It forces him to question what it truly means to be a god in a universe reshaping itself through science and ambition. And instead of retreating in shame, Thor begins something far more profound. The journey to reforge not just a weapon, but himself. Thor leaves the Avengers temporarily, retreating to the silent, scorched ruins of Nidavellir. The forge is cold, its mechanisms frozen in time, yet echoes of Atri's craftsmanship linger like whispers in the metal. Thor walks through the remains, feeling the ghosts of battles fought and destinies forged. And in the solitude of that cosmic anvil, he faces the truth he's been avoiding. His reliance on raw might has blinded him to the evolving battlefield of the universe. Doom fights with intellect, but Thor possesses a legacy older than any science, a lineage of ancient magic, forgotten enchantments, primordial energies woven into the roots of Yggdrasil. Using abandoned Atri sketches, old dwarven molds, and his own ancestral power, Thor begins reforging Stormbreaker into something new, something that doesn't just channel lightning, but manipulates the very essence of Uru. The result is Stormbreaker V2, a weapon that bypasses absorption fields and strikes directly at the heart of Doom's artificial godhood. This isn't just an upgrade, it's a resurrection of Thor's identity. By forging this weapon, he accepts his role not as a king, not as a warrior, but as a protector whose power is anchored in wisdom and purpose. With Stormbreaker V2 in hand, Thor rejoins the Avengers just as Doom initiates his catastrophic endgame, the activation of the reality stabilizer. This machine doesn't just distort the multiverse, it fractures it, bending realities like sheets of glass under immense gravitational pressure. The battlefield erupts into chaos as universes bleed into each other. Strange strains to contain the rifts, Wanda counters dimensional folds, and Banner tries to predict Doom's next pulse of multiversal energy. Yet Thor isn't focused on Doom directly, he senses the core of the stabilizer, the pulsating heart of this cosmic disaster. This is where he understands his true purpose. Thor pushes forward, cutting through collapsing space, bypassing Doom's forces and ignoring the swirling chaos around him. For the first time in years, we see Thor not as a bruiser swinging his axe, but as a god who understands the balance of existence. And what I love about this moment is how Thor becomes a beacon in the multiversal storm, a reminder that raw power, when guided by clarity and purpose, can transcend even the most advanced technology designed to overwrite reality itself. Thor reaches the core, and this is where his transformation culminates. No hesitation, no jokes, no self-doubt. Thor unleashes his full God of Thunder form, a state we've only glimpsed in previous films but never truly witnessed at its peak. His lightning isn't just energy anymore, it's the manifestation of divine order pushing back against Doom's artificial chaos. He declares with a quiet, unwavering authority, "You sought to reshape existence in your image, but as long as I stand, it remains free." And with Stormbreaker V2, he drives a strike into the heart of the stabilizer's energy sequence, overloading Doom's power source. Doom's armor, once invincible, flickers. His absorption fields collapse. For the first time, Doom's godlike superiority falters. Thor doesn't defeat Doom alone. That was never his arc. Instead, he opens the door, shattering the shield that made Doom untouchable. Thor becomes the reason the Avengers have a chance. His strike isn't just lightning. It's the key that unravels Doom's multiversal engine, exposing him to the final combined assault he can no longer withstand. With Doom vulnerable, the Avengers converge. Strange disrupts Doom's final incantation. Wanda smashes through his weakened psychic defenses. Sam and Carol coordinate a barrage that destabilizes his armor, and Banner lands the crucial blow that shuts the stabilizer down permanently. When the dust settles, the team realizes something crucial. Without Thor's intervention, none of this would have been possible. Banner even spells it out, studying the residual energy trails. Thor didn't just overpower Doom, he explains. He synchronized with the stabilizer's frequency. Lightning wasn't just power, it was the key. And while the Avengers begin containing the aftermath, Thor quietly steps aside. In the fading echoes of the multiversal collapse, he senses something flicker, a fragment of Loki's memory preserved like an ember that refuses to die. Thor gently retrieves it, understanding that although Loki may not fully return, the universe has not erased him entirely. And that small victory, that sliver of hope, becomes Thor's emotional closure. He didn't save Loki this time, but he saved the possibility of him. And to Thor, that means everything. As the final rifts seal and worlds stabilize, Thor watches the universe settle into its new equilibrium. But something has changed within him. A shift more profound than any battle wound or cosmic trial. Thor realizes he no longer belongs to a single throne or realm. His journey has carried him far beyond the boundaries of Asgard, Earth, or any one cosmic domain. Throughout this ordeal, he has seen how fragile the multiverse is, how easily its balance can be disrupted by ambition or ignorance. And he understands now why he sensed Doom's disturbance before anyone else. Because Thor's nature is tied not just to lightning, but to the connective threads between realms. The universe speaks to him not in words, but in storms, tremors, and cosmic rhythms. Standing on a cliff overlooking the restored horizon, Thor makes a quiet vow. He won't return as king. He won't retreat into isolation. Instead, he embraces a new purpose, to stand where realms meet destruction, to watch the borders of existence, to be the guardian who answers the universe's first cry for help before any crisis grows. What I find so fascinating about this arc is how it reframes Thor's entire cinematic journey. For years, he has wrestled with identity: prince, king, avenger, wanderer, failure, survivor. But Doomsday gives him a role that finally fits the magnitude of his character. Thor becomes not a ruler, but a sentinel. Not a warrior lost in guilt, but a god anchored in purpose. Marvel has subtly built this trajectory for years, showing Thor move away from Asgardian tradition and toward universal responsibility. And this story pays it off beautifully. Thor's warning at the film's beginning wasn't just intuition, it was destiny calling. His defeat wasn't humiliation, it was enlightenment. His reforged Stormbreaker wasn't a weapon upgrade, it was a symbol of renewed identity. Every step of this arc transforms Thor into something he was always meant to become, the protector of all realms. And what makes this so compelling is that it doesn't overshadow the other Avengers. Instead, it gives Thor a unique role, a cosmic anchor, a first responder to universal threats, a god who understands that power without purpose is meaningless. By the end of Avengers Doomsday, Thor's presence feels both larger and more focused than ever before. He's no longer chasing glory, revenge, or redemption. He's following a calling woven into the structure of the cosmos. And Marvel sets up something exciting here. A future where Thor might operate across multiple films, guiding heroes, sensing disruptions, and becoming the bridge between earthly Avengers and cosmic forces. Imagine Thor appearing when dimensional fractures occur, or when new villains tap into multiversal energy. His arc becomes a narrative compass, pointing toward future storylines. But perhaps the most beautiful moment comes when Thor stands among the Avengers after Doom's defeat. They expect him to return to leadership, to reclaim old roles. Instead, Thor smiles with quiet knowing. If Doom can rise, others will follow. A god must stand where realms meet destruction. With that, he walks away, not in sadness, but in fulfillment. He finally understands who he is, and the universe finally has the guardian it needs. And that, my friends, is the true role Thor will play in Avengers Doomsday. Not a background powerhouse, not comic relief, but the pivotal force whose warning, defeat, transformation, and resurgence make the final victory possible. Thor becomes the heart of the cosmic battle, the spark that ignites the Avengers' final charge, and the guardian who remains when the storm clears. I've been piecing this theory together for months, and the more I looked into Thor's trajectory, the more obvious it became that he's stepping into a godlike destiny Marvel has been hinting at since the beginning. But that's my breakdown, and I hope you felt the same excitement unraveling this theory as I did explaining it. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to MovieCast for more cinematic breakdowns just like this. And if you want to support the channel in an even bigger way, consider dropping a super thanks of $20. It truly helps us keep creating these epic theories for you all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next storm.